what if I told you that I found an opening that is guaranteed to throw off balance most of the people in your chess club on move 1? And also, it's not about the surprise factor as much as it is transposing and adapting to a position that's really bad for your opponent and really good for you. So in this video, I'll be talking about what the major opening replies are, the first of all. And the second one, I'll talk about my preferred way to play this opening. And the third one, you have to take with the end of the video to see it, is a prizing game of this opening that is actually a queen sack on move 11 and white is crushing. And you want to watch this, is really jump. So let's get started with the opening, and this opening is called the Vane Opening of 1 knight c3. When you look at this move knight c3, there's 3 major replies by black: is e5, d5, and c5. But most popular people go d5 if they see this opening. And the cool part about this opening, there's multiple ways to play this opening. So this first part will be talking about the ways you can play, and we'll be moving on to my preferred way for these openings. So if you move this one, you can do e4. Basically calls to a Scandinavian defense, literally attack variation. So you don't like the Scandinavian, you can do actually this Jobava London, bishop before it comes in. This is the other option. But if you don't feel like either of those, you can do knight f3, which is called the raid opening, reverse Mexican defense. So you can do either one, you can switch them up. You can just do whatever. So let's do the other move, c5. So c5 gives almost more options. So this one you could do d4, which is basically a Vane Game opening. This one going to be e4. It's basically the Grand Prix Attack with f4. You can do g3. You can also do g3 next move, and this is Keynesian attack. And this also, last move, and this knight f3 is also a Vane Game opening variation. So let's get the last variation is e5. So e5 happens, we have options. We have e4. Now Vienna Game. We have a Vienna Game. If you like this, let's say Gotham Chess Vienna Game, or Vienna Gambit, this is the way to go. And also you can do d4. And this one was called a Reverse Nimzowitsch Variation. So a lot of people play e4, and there's a Nimzowitsch variation of knight c6. But if you're white and do knight c3, and they go e5 and d4, you can basically have a speedy variation of this Nimzowitsch defense with an extra tempo with d4. So the last one is knight f3, which is actually called the also reversed Nimzowitsch variation because it transposes to things with d4. And you can also transpose to e4 if you want to. So this is basically the cool thing is you can adapt, you can switch around, and they can't expect what you're going to do until it's too late. And the next part was to talk about my preferences, all of these things we've seen. So if they go to the most popular line, d5, I recommend you do the Jobava London system. So as you know, the Jobava London is like the London system. It's really easy and systematic approach, but it's also aggressive and a bite to it. So d4, I recommend this one, and a computer verified these opening lines, so don't worry about that. And you can do your research on top of it, but this, I prefer this one. Knight f6 is usually the case. Bishop before e6, knight b5, and attacking the c7 pawn with the bishop, so they can't move away because this one will be a check and fork. So they have to go this ugly route of this one. They don't want to do this one because I'll just take the knight, so that'll be good for us. So they usually go knight e6, we go e3, developing c6, knight c3, bishop e6, but we have a cool alternative. We just double up the pawns in the a6 square, and now knight f3. They can do this one, it's all fine, but you know what? The end of the day, this bishop is atrocious. Our knights are really good. And we have an e-file with castling rook d1. White is only better. There's no problems here. So going past the d5 line after knight c3, let's talk about e5 line, which is very popular as well. And we'll do the reverse Nimzowitsch, whatever you want to call it. So they take on d4. Most likely, people are going to take this pawn. If they don't, then white is just clobbering black. So queen takes d4. They will do tempo with knight c6 most likely. Again, this is really, you're going to see this all the time, but no pressure. But we want to just do this quick development and castle queenside. So queen e3, people will just do knight f6, but pin the knight, bishop b7. They can do a6, but the thing's transpose, doesn't matter. Castle queenside. They do d6 to get the bishop on c8 out. So e4, getting space. a6, we go bishop f4. It's a really important. You can go take on f6, but I'd like to preserve the bishop pair. So they go castle, king b1. A lot of times when you have castle queenside, it's important to go king b1. There's no reason why we want to have some checks on this diagonal of the c1 to a6 diagonal. So we have time to just offer this defense. So this is so good, we could do this king b1 move and just clobber anyway. So they go bishop b6 developing, bishop b2, also getting into defense about knight h5 things. So they go knight e7, very trying to go c5 and attacking our queen, but we just go g4, attacking really fun things. Knight c5 doesn't matter, we just scoop up our queen to go this way and just really gonna have fun. And white is just barely better, h4 is coming, and we're gonna be having such fun time. But this is the e5 line. And lastly, we'll talk about the c5 line. So move, let's say 1, c5. If they go c5, we'll have a lot of fun with a Grand Prix attack. e4, knight c6, f4, g6, knight f3, bishop e7. And I like to do, let's say this bishop e5 is the main line, but I liked to do this a4 move. I was taught by my coach Eugene Perlstein. a4 is a really good way to just clobber black's position. So it's really holding down the position and also owning the b5 square. So after the e6, we go e5. After d6, we just do bishop e5. So knight g7, we'll just do knight e4, which is just holding in this black's position. And we're having already aggressive attention, so they go castle, like take on e5. So they take with the f pawn, castles, knight f6. It's devastating, so they don't want to have themselves having a dark square weaknesses, because this one bishop a6 is everything is atrocious. So they go actually king h8 in the corner. But now we go d4. They take a pawn, but it doesn't matter. We go bishop e5. After queen a5, we go queen e2, saying I want to trade the queens off. But in the end of the day, it's basically a +1 for white. We have development. We have actually good minor pieces, and we can take this pawn any time of the week. And you can do rook d1, king c1, taking d4 if you must. But you can do other attentions. You can take this attack him, rolling h4, h5, h6, and maybe suffocate him and having fun. So that is the preferred lines I use for the Vane opening. But now it's time to show you the lovely game that I love the Vane opening for. This, if you see this one, it proves to your mind that, okay, this Vane opening is so cool. It's cooler than a lot of openings you've ever seen. I'll want to show this game. I liked it the first time I saw it, and you'll see it, and it's like, oh, this is so gorgeous. 11, move 11, queen sack, and it wins. Why not? Let's see the game right now. So here's the game of the Vane opening in action. So knight c3, c5, knight f3, d5. We go a3. The cool thing is you don't have to play my game. You don't have to play my way. You can play it any way you want, any flavor you want, depending on your opponent, depending on your mood, and you can also have a good game. This guy did a different way, but actually won the game in actually 12 moves. And he sacrificed a queen in move 11. That is really cool to hear. So d4, knight e4, e5. Got a lot of space, but now e3. By the way, it's not really good advice to take this one because it's queen d5. So this guy was smart enough to not take that. He just played e3 instead. So after f5, knight c3. But after e4, knight e5 comes in, and black has trouble. So they go bishop e6, bishop e5, check. Knight e7, queen h5, check. Oh, they have to just do g6. After knight takes g6, they go try to be clever, knight f6. But this is where the surprise move that I love to death. This one is knight takes f5. Exclam, double exclam, brilliant move. They take the queen, knight takes d6, checkmate. The game is over because both knights are covering all the squares. And there's no way to get the king out of danger. And therefore, already on move 12, with a Vane opening, white has won the game. And black was totally shocked by the fact that he took a queen for his death sentence. So I hope you liked this opening. I really liked that for the first time I looked at it, And I know that, like I said in the beginning, it'll throw most of the people in your chess club off balance for your benefit and to win the games.
Hey, check this video out to make sure that you get more important information to bring your chess to the next level.